Yo, what up? 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 World? What up? World? What up? World? What up? World? This your main man. I am DJ Double Dose, man. I'm in the building. And today we got a very, very, very special show for you today because as it is, fall camp has kicked off in a lot of places. So what we doing today, you seen in the caption, we are picking who will win the ACC. You already know who resides in the ACC. Nope. We're going to get to all of that. We're going to get to all of that. We're going to get to all of that in a minute, man. But I just want to go ahead and thank you guys again for tuning in with us. Come on in and sit down because right now this is what we call fall camp picking season. You know what I'm saying? It's picking season because what happens in picking season is everybody has their predictions. Everybody has their thoughts on. Everybody's fresh off of media day. Everybody's fresh. Everybody team feels good, feels energized, and everybody feels like their team is the one that's going to actually win the conference and possibly go on to the playoffs. But we all know, as of now, hey, Pac-12, I'm sorry. This is your last year playing ball. Hey, Pac-12, you should have took that. You know what? We're not even going to talk about it. You had a deal on the table, the same deal that was similar to the Big 12's deal, but you felt like your product was a little better. Now look at you. Assed out. No longer once this season comes to an end, the Pac-12 that we know will no longer look the way that it looks. But we're not here to talk about the Pac-12. We're here to talk about the ACC in today's show, and we're going to give some predictions. FSU going to win the whole thing. All right, good night, man. See y'all later, man. You know what I'm saying? We out, man. Thank y'all for checking in. All right, that was a short episode, right? Nah, we just playing. I'm just playing, man. Okay, now that we're going to go ahead and get into it, let's pull up the preseason finishes or top finishes of the preseason that they in the poll that they predicted so far, as to who would finish in what place. I got some surprises for you that I disagree with wholeheartedly on this preseason ACC pick, but let's go ahead and pull it up. Come on, let's go on a ride. Let's go on a journey into the ACC, to the ACC. That's right. I know a lot of y'all SEC fans, Big 10 fans, Big 12 fans, SWAC fans. You like, man, the ACC ain't shit. Well, whatever. We're going to go over it and we're going to talk about it. So let's pull it up. Boom. All right. Here we go. Okay. So with no surprises, right now we have Clemson predicted to win the conference. Understandable. I got 4 teams that I feel like that could possibly pull it off. But let's just look at what we have constructed going forward. Got Clemson scheduled to finish 1. FSU 2. North Carolina with Drake May 3. NC State, Miami, Duke, Pitt, Louisville. I disagree with that a lot. Wake, Syracuse, Vatech, Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Virginia. Now let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. For right now, let's unpack that. It's understandable why Clemson is pick number 1. It's understandable. They are the returning champions, until somebody beats them and knocks them off their square. They are I wouldn't say standard in the ACC, but right now they are lead dog, which is understandable. Florida State, number 2, coming off a 10-win season. A lot of optimism, a lot of returning production on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So understandably so. And because we have no division this year, there could be a Clemson FSU part 1, part 2. We'll see. North Carolina, Interesting that you got interesting you people have North Carolina sitting at number 3. Have y'all seen North Carolina defense? Did y'all see North Carolina defense last year? And even throughout the portal, they ain't really add a whole lot. Is there anything that makes you believe that that defense is going to be that much better this year? I don't think so. NC State, NC State plays a brand of football that is gritty, gutty, gutsy, and the whole nine. NC State, Miami. They showing a lot of optimism for Miami. All right, so you see it now. Let's go into my views and the 4 teams that I feel. The 4 teams that I feel that will either play for the ACC title or flat out win the ACC title. Team number one. And I'm gonna tell you something about this. It is crazy. It is very crazy. But my first team that I feel like has the best chance, one of the best chances to actually surprise a whole lot of people. I know they got a new coach. They got a brand new coach. He's a prodigal son, you know what I'm saying, played quarterback for the university. Let's go into Louisville. The Louisville Cardinals. Okay, first of all, let's talk about what they have and what they have going for before we get into the schedule. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so when you look at what Louisville has done, Scott Satterfield, before he got fired, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to dip. And I don't think a lot of people in Louisville was upset that he left. There wasn't a whole lot of chatter about clamoring for him to stay. Some may say he was a product of, Malik Cunningham. Malik Cunningham was an amazing, shout out to the home team. You know what I'm saying? Malik Cunningham, he's from this here city in Birmingham, Alabama. Shout out to Malik Cunningham. He was an amazing quarterback for Louisville. And he gave Satterfield, some may say he gave Satterfield a little more success, clearly, than he coached his way too. Malik Cunningham saved him a lot. He was, as we would say, for all my old school people out there, he was, and if you follow Jodeci, one of the best R&B albums ever made. The Show, The Hotel, and the After Party. I might have got it mixed up, but it's all in that jumbo. Similar. So you lose Malik Cunningham. All right, you lose Scott Satterfield. That's a lot. That is a lot. You lose your head coach, but you bring in somebody who, even though Purdue was not world beaters or anything like that, you knew that Purdue had offense. They did. Under Jeff Brom, they had offense in Purdue. And you figure, hey, you bring Jeff Brom back, he played at the university. A lot of people, he turned the job down once before. He didn't want to come initially. He didn't want to come. But now he came. So he brings his quarterback with him. Jake Plummer. He brings the quarterback with him. So he doesn't have to wonder. He doesn't have to think about what he's going to do at one of the most pivotal and key positions on the field as quarterback. He brings Jake Plummer with him. He also brings in Kevin Coleman. We all know who Kevin Coleman is. He showed out when he was at Jackson State. And now he comes via the transfer portal to Louisville. But although we got Braun, we got Plummer, we got Kevin Coleman, a defense that is okay, that ain't why people are calling them a sleeper pick. Let's look at this schedule. Let's look at it. Because you're going to see something that's not on there. Let's pull it. Let's look at it. Okay. Week 1, Georgia Tech, W. So I want you to kind of with me, people. Week 1, Georgia Tech, W. Week 2, Murray State, W. Week 3, Indiana, W. Week 4, Boston College, W. Okay, so now we are in week 5. So that is, we're still in September now. Now we're in week 5. We got NC State. It's an away game. Could be tricky. NC State lost a lot of fifth year grown ass men off of that defense from last year. The corners are solid, but that interior, that front seven, we're going to see how that looks with them filling in new pieces. So I personally say NC State, W. So now, if you keeping track, that is 5-0 going into Notre Dame. Also, what does that also tell you? That is NC State, Boston College, Georgia Tech. If you're keeping track, that's 3 ACC wins. Here we go. Notre Dame. Although Notre Dame plays a football-only ACC schedule, okay, I give them an L there. They lose to Notre Dame. All right, cool. Then you got Pitt the following week. W for me. I say that's a W. So if you're keeping track, that's 6-1. Then you got your bye. Okay? You take a break. You got your bye. After your bye, you got, it looks like Duke. W. Virginia Tech. Should be another W. Then you got Virginia. You see the theme that I'm going with this here? Another W. Got Miami. Usually around this time of the year, you Hurricanes. Y'all be done checked out by this time of the year, especially if the season ain't going right. But even if you just want to say for excitement, this is a flip game. I won't call this a guaranteed W. This is a flip. Going flip. Okay. And then you close out the season with Kentucky. So if you keeping track, that is a situation of maybe you're talking about at worst a loss to Notre Dame and maybe a loss to Miami. That's a coin flip game. Now, with all that being said, what don't you see on that schedule? What you don't see on that schedule is Florida State. And you also don't see Clemson. And you also don't see North Carolina. So we just going to stick a pin on that and let you sit back and think about what that means. What that basically means is Louisville truly does not face remember what I just showed you. The top 3 teams in the ACC, they don't face them. Preseason wise, they don't face them. They don't face Clemson, they don't face Florida State, and they don't face North Carolina. So if you say that the ACC is down or whatever your views or opinions about the ACC is, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, they should be able to handle those bottom feeding teams. So this whole Clemson FSU, we'll get to that in a second. This whole Clemson FSU rematch in a championship game because there's no divisions, I personally don't think so. Look, there's a lot of hype going into Louisville into the season. There's a lot of hype going into Louisville, and Brom is embracing it all. So the Louisville Cardinals, man, they are my dark horse team. I wouldn't want to say dark horse, but they are one of the teams that I would say that can stir up the pot because they don't face the top 3 teams in the conference. And that just means that, hey, they beat Miami and take care of their business against the bottom feeders, they going to probably be sitting there in the ACC title game. Let's speed this up, move forward. Next team on the schedule, we got the Miami Hurricanes. I mean, you won under Mario Cristobal. It bow, 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 bow. It was off with a bang, wasn't it? Okay. let me take a sip, and then I'll be objective. Well, Mr. Crystal Ball, you came into the season with a lot of hype. I mean, you had you had TBD coming back, Tyler Van Dyke. You brought in Gaddis. He was a award-winning offensive coordinator. You had Kevin Steele on defense. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was expecting y'all to do the damn thing. And what did you do? Fall flat on your ass. That's what you did, Miami. You fell flat on your ass. Now, do I think that this season is another 5-7 season? I would love to see it. I definitely would love to see it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna give y'all a little Hurricane fan. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. Hey, Middle Tennessee State, they still ready. Okay, I digress. Let's bring it back in. Let's bring it back in. Let's pull up the Hurricane schedule and see a couple of stumbling blocks that they're gonna have. All right, so you got Miami of Ohio, should be a W. Texas A&M. That is very interesting because that's going to be the game that we find out if Jimbo and Petrino, what page are they on? I know it's like that's week 2. We're going to find that out real fast, real hard. I got that as a loss. Sorry, Miami. They beat your ass last year. I definitely see that happening again. Okay, so Bethune-Cookman, W. Temple, W. So now you are 1 loss, 2. You're 3-1 now. Going to Georgia Tech, W. I'm gonna give you that. So now we Miami, Ohio, W. Bethune-Cookman, W. Temple, W. Georgia Tech, W. So now you are 4-1 going to North Carolina. North Carolina, Drake May is gonna shred y'all. Cameron Kitchens, you are an amazing safety, Cameron Kitchens. You are amazing. I hope you pack your lunch that day because Drake May is gonna handle his business against y'all. So I got that as a loss. So now that's 2 losses. Clemson got them at home. Whatever that. I'm sorry. You have them in the Miami Dolphins football stadium, known as the Hard Rock, because that ain't really home. Clemson, loss. That's another loss. So now we got Texas A&M, L, North Carolina, L, Clemson, L. Virginia should be a W. NC State, at NC State in that stadium, L. Florida State, you already know that's a L. Louisville, coin flip, Boston College, W. So if we keep in track, let's see what we come up with. You got Miami, Ohio 1, Bethune-Cookman 2, Temple 3, Georgia Tech 4, Virginia 5, Boston College 6. So to me, I predict 6-6. It could be 7-5 if you beat Louisville. But that's as far as I'm going. That's as far as I'm going. I give you 6-6. The most likely outcome is 7-5 because maybe one of those, or maybe NC State, or you might pull one of those off. So the more likely outcome is 7-5. I'm gonna give you 6-6. That's just me. That's being nice. That's being nice. Moving right along. Next up, we got them Clemson Tigers. The Clemson Tigers. Let me tell you something. Clemson is a mystery. Dabo sat on his ass for a while. And what I mean by that, by him sitting on his ass, Dabo is a stubborn coach. He does not really care for making change. He doesn't really care for making change. He really doesn't. And this is my personal opinion. This is not more than that. You can take it. You can argue. You can fight. You can tell me I'm wrong. Hey, it's whatever you want to do with it. I personally think the only reason why he went and hired Gary Riley is because he finally saw Florida State wake up. That's just my personal opinion. He gave Mike Norvell credit a couple seasons ago. Well, even He did. And once he saw what we did last year, I think the light bulb finally clicked and he's like, okay, all right, they may be on to something. So now after, because we saw the debacle that was DJU, we saw how that went. We saw it crash and burn. But they bring in Garrett Riley. You know they got all-world Will Shipley. They got Cade Klubnik. Now, the interesting fact about Cade Klubnik is, what does he do in this Lincoln Riley offense? Because Clemson's offense over the last few years has been very, very, very stagnant. And if you know what Garrett Riley is, you know who he is. That's Lincoln's brother. If you don't know, that's Lincoln's brother. And go back and look at TCU. TCU was balling last year. Had they made it all the way to the well, they got destroyed in the title game. But that's neither here nor there. That wasn't his fault. You know what I'm saying? So you bring in Garrett Riley, you got Cade Klubnik. On the defensive side of the ball, are we finally gonna see Xavier Thomas live up to his 5-star billing? That, I think, that's more so the question more than anything else. Because if he can live up to his 5-star billing, you know, he's been okay. He's had production, but he hasn't been lights out. This year they're gonna need him. Clemson lost a ton on that defensive line. They lost a ton of production off of that defensive line. When you lose Miles Murphy, Brian Brzee, and then you also lose KJ Henry, that's a lot of production. Those guys played a lot of games and put in a lot of work for Clemson. So let's look at their schedule. Let's see what the Clemson Tigers possibly is going to do. Duke, I feel like that's a W. I don't know who this week 9, this September 9th team is. I don't know who their mascot is, but whoever it is, W. FAU, W. Here's the moneymaker right here. Florida, they have Florida State on September 23rd. Early. We have not played Clemson this early in the season in as long as I can remember. It's been a while. So you got Florida State early. For me personally, we're going to get to it in a second with Florida State. For me personally, I think this game matters a lot more than what people are saying. Reason why I say this is because the point I made to you about 8 minutes ago. I really believe that Louisville is going to take care of that schedule. So all of this whole, think about it. When the ACC put, and I'm making a point, when the ACC put Miami on the other side and they put them on the coast and they had us on the, they did that because they wanted to see Miami, Florida State play multiple times in the season. That was one of the reasons why they put Miami over there. Okay. I say all that to say there's a lot of people who believe that Florida State and Clemson are the two best teams and that they are going to face each other multiple times because there's no division. I personally don't feel that way. I could be wrong, but I personally don't feel that way. So I feel like this game matters a lot more than what people are thinking. I know it's early on in the season, but let's be clear. The loser of this game is pretty much going to damn near be a game and a half behind. You see what I'm saying? They're going to have to hope that the winner loses and hope that Louisville don't run the table, all while still having to handle their business in the interim. So I said all that to say, lost, L. Finally, we get over the hump. It's been 8 goddamn years. Florida State has not beaten Clemson since 2015. Okay? 2015. It's time. All right, Syracuse, W. Wake Forest, no Hartman, W. Miami, W. NC State revenge game, W. Notre Dame. Now, for me, I feel like they got Notre Dame right here. This is where I differ from the critics. This is why I differ. I feel like when they lose to Florida State, they're going to suffer a couple more L's. And this is one of the other ones. It's Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame is going to be able to beat Clemson. They're going to put them out of their misery, and they're going to beat Clemson. You got Georgia Tech. That's a W. North Carolina is going to give them everything that they don't want. And at that point, if they have 2 losses, Say that everything goes away. I'm predicting it. They lose to Florida State. And they lose to Notre Dame. Are they really going to still be in it November the 18th? Dre May still going to be trying to play for the Heisman. He's going to be very much in it. I got it as a toss-up. I won't give North Carolina the win, but I got it as a toss-up. South Carolina, I give them the W. So if you're keeping track, that means I got them finishing what? I got them having 2 losses, possibly 3. So for me, the more likely outcome is 11-1, but the other outcome is 9-3. That's my views and that's my opinions on Clemson. And then we come to Florida motherfucking State. Do we capitalize on last season? I got some takes that's going to surprise you. You look at Florida State, we already know what they're returning. It doesn't have to be said. We already know they are returning Jordan Travis at quarterback. They're returning Trey Benson at running back. They're returning Johnny Wilson at wide receiver. They're returning Jerry Verse, projected first round on the defensive line. And they also are returning, well, he's not returning, but bringing in on top of all of the transfers they brought in. One of the main ones they brought in was Fincher Cypress. Lot. Oh, which way the kid do it? Whatever fucking way they do that shit. Buckle up, lock down, Fincher Cypress from Virginia. They bring him in. Now, did they lose a couple pieces? Yeah, they did. They lost Rashawn Ward. That's huge. But they believe. Florida State believes in their backfield. They do. Besides Trey Benson, of course, Todd Philly is still there. And they got a couple more pieces that they believe in. So let's run down Florida State schedule real quick, real fast, because what I'm saying, I'm almost at 30 minutes. I'm trying not to keep y'all past 35 minutes. LSU, you LSU fans are doing a whole lot of goddamn talking, bruh. Y'all sitting around there acting like, oh, man, y'all have beat us by a point. Y'all want to ignore the fact that, you know what? I'm going to say that. I'm going to save that for my SEC preview about you LSU fans. So I'm going to keep that to myself. Anyway, LSU. But you know what, though? I'm going to surprise you with this. As much as I feel like we're the better team, I think LSU is going to want it more. I do. I think LSU is going to come into this game and they're going to want it more. And it ain't going to goddamn matter. We still walking out of that bitch with a W. LSU, dub. Southern Miss, dub. Boston College, dub. Here is my dilemma. Can we get over the hump? My heart says yes. My heart tells me, we get over the hump. My heart tells me we get over the hump, and that's that. And we finally do it. We catching Clemson. We got everything we wanted in this Clemson matchup. We got them early. Now, it could have been a little sweeter if we would have had them at home, but we don't have them at home. We got them early. You saw Clemson's schedule prior to us. They're not going to be battle tested at that point in the season. Whereas we finna be in a war. The very first week, we finna be in an all-out war. Brian Kelly spitting shots. We finna be in a war. In my heart, I could be wrong. Y'all can come on here and y'all can pin it. Y'all can clip it. And y'all can tell me being there. Y'all can be like, Dose, you was wrong. You was dead-ass wrong. And that's fine. And I'll be dead-ass wrong. But what I ain't going to be is upset. Because guess what? We taking care of business on September 23rd. So one way or the other, I feel like we walk out of September either 3-1 or 4-0. That's how I goddamn feel. You can pin it. We either walking out of, let me say it again, without the cursing, so that way I can. Bring it. We walking out of here 3-1 or 4-0. As I continue, the offense is humming at this point. Virginia Tech, W. Syracuse, W. Duke, W. Wait, W. Here's why I got us losing. I don't like this game. I don't. I ain't never like playing Pitt. Never like playing Pitt. I don't like playing Pitt. They scrappy. They are a scrappy team. And I feel like at this point in the season, we're going to be rolling and we're going to be feeling ourselves. We're going to be rolling and we're going to be feeling ourselves. And Pitt going to humble us. And Pitt is going to humble us. Got FSU losing to Pitt right here. We bounce back against Miami. We take care of business against North Carolina. And we don't know which Gator team is going to show up the day after Thanksgiving. We don't know which Gator team is going to show up the day after Thanksgiving. But if all things are the way that they are projecting to be, I foresee us beating Florida, going into the ACC title game 11-1 with an upset loss to Pitt. Now, the moment that we all been waiting for, 31 minutes, I'm almost at my time. Who do I feel I'm going to see in the ACC title game? I think it's going to be FSU versus Louisville. And you know who I got winning the whole thing? Hit my music. Hit my music. Because it's only one way to close this out. As we take our place back atop the ACC, Florida State takes the ACC, and I'm out.